Welcome, you're on the Fringe Show. I'm Tatiana Zalan, and I go live every Friday at 2 p.m. Dubai time. It's typically a live show, but today is different. I'm doing a recording, and that's because I'm having a very special guest for you, Irina Karagyaur. Let me introduce to you, Irina. Well, one of the wonderful things about Irina is that she, as you can see, is a very young and very competent and bright professional woman in the blockchain space. And I just want to make this particular mention that unfortunately we don't have enough women in the blockchain space, let alone in the NFT space or the metaverse space. Therefore, I'm personally very pleased that Irina found a bit of time in her very busy schedule to come and talk on the Fringe show. The Fringe helps you to understand and navigate the rapidly changing life and increase the odds of your success. Here we discuss technology, startups, entrepreneurs, and mental models of successful people so that you too can take advantage of the opportunities in the new digital world. And now on to Irina. Let me tell you a little bit, a couple of things about Irina. Irina is currently the head of Metaverse Growth at Unique Network. She's also the head ambassador for Western Europe of the Polkadot Network and also London's regional co-chair of FIBRI, which is Foundation for International Blockchain and Real Estate Expertise. Irina also co-founded BQ9, which is a crypto fintech boutique advisory firm that focuses on DeFi, NFTs, and other Web3 services. I really don't know how she finds the time to do everything. Irina has graduated from Southern Federal University, which is a former Rostov State University, and has a master's degree, a Master's of Science from Politecnico di Milano in urban planning and policy design, smart cities, analysis and assessment of urban transformation, European economics infrastructure. Apart from doing all of these brilliant things, she's also publishing, which I am, as an academic, I'm a little bit envious of. And one of the most interesting publications, at least to me, is one which is called Metaverse, Multiplanetary Economic Model. Irina speaks 4 languages and leads a very, very busy life. Now it's on to you, Irina.
Thank you for this introduction, Tatiana. It's a great pleasure that we're having this conversation today. Because for our guests, thank you first of all for joining us. We had a pleasure to meet in person in Dubai recently during the WOW Summit, and I'm very, very excited for Tatiana's startup Vernissage Gallery that is building on Unique Network. So it's a one of our favorite teams, pioneers of the NFT space, who are really taking care of the community, of the art values and we're going to talk about this more today.
Yes, absolutely.
What's coming up next.
Yeah, Irina, you had some really remarkable event, remarkable for Unique Network, maybe a few days ago. Maybe you can tell our listeners what you've done and why it's important, its significance.
Absolutely, thank you, Tatiana. So we won 14th auction, and that means that our Unique Network, which is a Polkadot ecosystem. NFT chain for Kusama and Polkadot ecosystem. We launched our parachain called Quartz back in December 2021, and then went for preparation to launch parachain on Polkadot. And this also means that now we will move towards token generation event in June. Will be listed on Quartz. Token is already listed on several exchanges. Unique token will be listed on more. And the exciting thing is that now we can build marketplaces, metaverse games, and really put out on the market everything that we've been working on for very, not so very, but yeah, significant time. All the advanced features, all the true innovation in the NFT space that has not been seen before.
Wonderful. Yeah, I congratulate you on that. It's definitely a big achievement for you all and your team. Your position right now at Unique Network is Head of Metaverse Growth. It's certainly not something that we hear a lot in terms of titles, and I'm sure it will be more interesting, not only for mature audiences, but in particularly for younger people who want to enter this NFT space, metaverse space. Can you please tell us what your typical day looks like and what do you do in your job?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the most exciting job title I've ever had because that means building an ecosystem of applications who want to enter NFT space and bridging the on-chain community with the off-chain community. Because to me, the metaverse, the real open metaverse, means opening an opportunity and building a bridge between real economy and virtual economy. So it all began with the creation of the Internet of Value. And this is the most important part, Internet of Value, decentralization. This is what we are all building in this space. And Metaverse became famous and mainstream, unfortunately, due to the announcement that Facebook made earlier this year. And what we are also working on as a Web3 community is educating people on what the real metaverse is and the real importance of power of community, power of individuals, embracing creative economy. So on the large scale, what I do is I embrace creative economy. I embrace all the solutions that come into NFT space, everything that startups or enterprises are working on in relation to NFT, which could be NFT marketplace, gaming, or using NFTs as certificates, bridging some sort of developments or information that can be put in an NFT form into the Web3 economy. My typical day looks like, a typical day of somebody who works remotely, which is a huge advantage because our team is very decentralized. So we are mainly connected over Zoom calls and Slack channels and Telegram channels. So really there is no similar day. It's always it's really always new days. So you wake up excited each new day because I know that I'm going to meet new people. I would have an introduction call with a new company building something I've never heard about. We'll be doing follow-ups with the projects who are diving deeper into the technological solution and the product solution, and we'd be ideating and innovating and brainstorming on what can be done beyond the NFT 1.0 use case. How do we get to the next level? What is the value we're giving, not only on the tech side, but also on the global level? Because fortunately, there are really many projects who are thinking of the social good, thinking of charitable causes, and thinking of helping our society at large. So majority of projects I'm working with, they really take advantage of this new structures of royalties distribution, of how you can create and distribute the profits of your NFT platform. Because now as a creator, as the owner of that platform, you have the power to decide where your income is going to go, as opposed to, say, any centralized platform for content creators, where a platform itself would take at least a half of your earnings, and then you would need to, you also don't really have an efficient and effective mechanism of distributing the funds to the causes you want to support in any way. So with Web3, we are changing this, still early. Still, there is a lot to work on, especially on the UX side. And this is the exciting part of this year development, of next couple of years development. So like in the short term, it's like for me catching up the blockchain, the heavy infrastructure core development, and the UX and UI and the side of the tech that where users directly interact with the platform. because it all began with like really deep dive into the technology, and we've developed really cool features on blockchain that were not available before. And now the focus is on having these focus groups with users, understanding what our creative community wants, what do NFT collectors want, how do they want to interact with this platform, like what images they want to see there, what experience they want to have. So there is really a lot of space for UX and UI designers, as well as creative, people who like to do digital art, graphic design. This is something that is booming as of today. And then, yeah, my day is really here and there at different events, supporting our projects, doing talks, educating community. And the conversations, they really vary from the deep dive into art field to deep dive into tech or business opportunities in the space. And yeah, it can be in different time zones, in different locations, as I tend to, especially recently, travel quite a bit, going to Amsterdam this weekend. So if anybody is in Amsterdam and watching us right now, please do reach out. Let's connect there. It's a great event for Polkadot community, as this is probably the first time after the pandemics that we're all getting together at a scale.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so you travel a lot, obviously, in your job. You mentioned something that kind of probably is worth exploring in a little bit more depth, and that's that you're educating people about what the real metaverse is. And I suppose you're referring to this distinction between open metaverse and closed metaverse, right? And actually, you were the one who alerted me to this report by Jamie Berg, rather Outlier Ventures, on the state of the open metaverse. And he's very, very adamant about, that what many people are referring to the metaverse is not actually what needs to be built. It's not about the closed metaverses like Facebook, where they have charged, or where they're prepared to be charging 50% from creators. This is not something that we're in the open space want. So he's very much against this centralized control. Maybe suggests CBDCs there instead of real crypto. So it will be compliant, consistent of great, maybe user experience, highly personalized through continuous surveillance capitalism, as he calls it, and making incredibly compelling to the average internet user. So he says that it is our job to make its opposite, the open metaverse, better and quickly, he says. So this is more what you are doing, obviously, at Unique Network. So if you can elaborate a little bit about this distinction between closed and open metaverse, would be lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good point, because it's a central point, because the whole data crisis, like this past decade, was about centralized platforms monetizing of our data or tracking our data without us knowing it. And I particularly like a talk that Yuval Harari made during the World Economic Forum last year about the threats of the 21st century. And a big part of that speech was dedicated to data and how these platforms are collecting the data about us that we may not even be aware of ourselves, and is using it, and it can potentially take two directions. It either benefits us or it creates harm. And in order to avoid this harm, and in order to avoid a situation where you as a person and a user of the services are not in control, we're building something opposite. And the open metaverse, like what I keep on hearing in the space, people refer to metaverse as, they call virtual worlds metaverses. So they call games metaverses. But there's actually just one metaverse, one open metaverse, because the metaverse concept is about economy in the bottom line, and it has many different layers. It has a layer of blockchain, it has a layer of creative platforms. It has a layer of real world economy, like at the moment it's fashion, art, entering this digital space. And we are digitizing first all the assets, even in the real world, to then to be able to tokenize them in the form of either non-fungible and fungible tokens in the metaverse. And then we also have a layer of immersive experience, so VR, AR, that allows us to interact with each other or create social networks or work in a different way, having like being in the space that feels different, that looks different. It's not just a 2D platform anymore. And there is a hardware part, there is a software part, there's a creative part, and financial, and it's complex. So in principle, we're creating new way of interacting among each other, new way of running digital economy, and being actually in control of what we put out there. Because so far, and now it's a good example with what is happening in Russia, like the famous platform Instagram is not longer available for Russian creators. And that caused, a huge problem, because a lot of people depend on the income from that one single platform. Mm-hmm. They've created a business, they've created, their bread and butter was there, and then it got shut down for geopolitical reasons. So you may agree or disagree with the decisions being taken by the central government, but you have no control of, keeping your platform and saying, this is my income, this is my job, this is what I do, so I want to keep it. And I'm not saying there anything that, according to me or to the logic, should be deleted or eliminated. So actually, creators are in danger always of the central platforms being shut down or restricting content or blocking you, anything. So you are never in control. And what Web3 is trying to solve is to give you back that control. So you have your wallet, you have your seed phrase, you have your independent NFT platform. And what we've done at Unique Network, we've created a white label solution. So everybody can take it, unpack it, and use it for their project. And no one can take it from you. Like, it's not under control of Unique Network, it's decentralized. And another beautiful part of the whole Web3 economy is the governance. So people can actually organize themselves in a model of sort of Swiss government, right? In a true democracy, and vote with their tokens and decide, whether this platform is good, whether this platform is bad. So it doesn't mean that at this point we don't have a problem of who's the bad actor, who's the good actor, and what content is being minted. Like, there's so many things that we still need to sort out, but simply because we're very early in the days. We still did not cross the chasm. We still didn't reach the point of mass adoption. We've reached the point of a recognition of the metaverse, the NFT space, the blockchain, probably in the past 6 months to 1 year. Everything happened and exploded during the DeFi summer of 2020. And then the second wave of NFTs, and after the sales and Christie's of people's artwork, really mass media began, or media in general began talking about the NFTs. However, a lot of things that were produced in the NFT space, they were experimental. This is a very, very new technology. So even creators, when they jump in, they're like, okay, what do I do? What artwork should I mint? Should I mint an avatar? Should I try to gamify it? Should I just try to be myself? And if I'm a fine artist, how do I find my way? So there are still many, many questions, many avenues for experimentation. And of course, there is a debate on the prices fluctuation, the real value of the majority of NFTs out in the market. Would they sustain? Would something that was sold, a Twitter post that was sold for 700,000 still have the same value, and the owner would be able to sell it for the same amount of money in 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years? Big question mark. We don't know at the moment. But what we do know is that we need to explore more utility. We need to explore more innovation and encourage this innovation. But at the same time, I would encourage creators not to stop. Just go there and try it. But try it here. Here we transition into a very important environmental environmental question, which I know you wanted to ask.
Yes,
so.
yes, yeah. But then that's probably a little bit towards the end. Yes, environmental, ecological issues here is very, very important. Yeah. But now, given that it's so early, but then again, I've just recently come across the figure that by the end of this decade, the market, the metaverse market, as they call it, will be worth something like $1 trillion. So that's a huge market, but we're very early. So where do you see this space going? And in particular, do you see some really interesting ideas, any very interesting projects that you come across in your daily work?
So the art space is very interesting. It was the first one with avatars and art, and we have to really distinguish those at this point of time, because everything that was put out by content creators like flying shoes and happy monkeys, that's like all fun, but we can't call that art. It's graphic design, it's animation, but it's not art. Mm-hmm. And what we're seeing now is that artists and curators are jumping into the space, and there are platforms building on unique community of curators who are involved in Venice Biennale, who are using NFTs to fundraise for museums, to help museums to run their exhibitions, to help communities solve their problems in terms of maintenance of, because museum and exhibition, they involve many elements. Like many people outside of the industry think that, oh, maybe it's easy to come and hang paintings on the wall, but there is always a storytelling behind. There is a curator involved. There is a team of researchers that support that. There are different artists. There's a lot of logistics involved. And an interesting point I've discussed just yesterday with one of the museums is that the biggest issue museums have is the transportation of physical paintings. And digital art or projections, holograms, and all this new technology really helps solving it, because now you can create experience, not just you show a screen with the copy of the original physical artwork, but you can create an immersive experience showing that artwork at a different angle. Because let's face it, time is changing. We're living in the times of contemporary art. There's a lot of debate, is it beautiful? Should it be about price? Should it be about auctioning off something expensive and, supporting yourself as an artist? Or should it be focused on the beauty? Should it be focused on the social goal? Should it be political? Should it raise some questions of the contemporary society? So there are many, many questions, and I see this space starting to move really quickly. I start seeing really interesting artists jumping in, philosophers jumping in and initiating the dialogue with collectors, with art institutions, with the viewers, with the visitors of museum, because these are all very different audiences. And I'm expecting more and more collaborations in terms of really VR, AR, and the exhibition experience itself, art institutions. I'm expecting more of, serious artworks entering the space. So the movements, I'm expecting really a new art movement to emerge, because it's been a while since we've seen, something like the Russian avant-garde. That was a revolutionary art movement that happened in a very short period of time, but had a lot of impact on deconstructivist architecture, on painting, on design. Then happened an era of product design, interior design advancements, and then happened more advancements in architecture and parametrics mixed with the technology. And then architects, artists, again, were writing about the lack of direction, that we're facing some kind of crisis, and now we've come in the world to sort of political and social crisis. And this is the time, it's a decisive moment, in my opinion, when we either go up and we as a society come together and we find solutions how to fix it, or we're going to face an extinction, as Harari warns us.
I'm completely with you on that. Yes, we're very much inflection point at the moment. And I just hope that humanity gains its senses and awakens finally to what's really going on. Yes. Yeah.
And for the other part, there is also an exciting gaming community where, again, we have not seen really the use cases of NFTs. And in my opinion, that happened because a lot of big gaming companies with the centralized mindset were the first ones, because they had the influence, the money, the knowledge, the communities already to integrate NFTs. And it doesn't seem to be working very well, because the logics of centralization and corporations do not work well in the Web3 space. So I'm expecting more startups to discover this space. I'm expecting more young people to come up with really games that they enjoy playing, games that have really good interface and are visually appealing and engaging, as well as having that utility element, because there was first like centralized gaming platforms that were amazing in terms of design, very engaging, something that you would enjoy spending your time in that game. But then the element of play to earn would be on the side of the platform. So the revenues that you as a creator or game developer would be getting from that platform would again be like, you would question yourself, is it worth it? Would I really invest that much effort in creating this game and creating NFTs to receive that return on my investment? But then startups, when they jumped in, like the virtual worlds that are being built from the visual point of view, they're still lacking graphic. So a lot of brands and a lot of companies who like to focus on design, on realistic design specifically, they can't really introduce their objects in game because graphically these two don't match. So we're still expecting virtual worlds of a much higher quality to come to the market, where really creators like top designers, somebody who would design, Apple Watch, can actually put the 3D version of that watch in a game or in the virtual world. And there's still like, for me, it's interesting. Well, I guess because I really like the visual side of things, the visual side of games and art platforms, as well as we need to experiment more, and we need to see more what can be done on the economic side of things. We saw an example of Axie Infinity. It gave people the opportunity to earn income in difficult times in a location where there are not so many opportunities in the real world economy, but they were able to plug into the global economy and find their way. So this is something that should happen much more. And then I'm expecting more of the real world companies, like there is a company that is working with scoring system. They're converting the scoring system for infrastructure projects into an NFT, and it can be discovered in an Oracle, and then the DAO controls the decision making of the scoring, if it's fair, if it's done up to a certain standard, et cetera, et cetera. So this kind of engagement of communities, of professional networks in real estate, in infrastructure, in other industries, deciding in education, for example, because NFT can be a certificate, your degree certificate, a course certificate, and we are already seeing many different organizations, institutions, education, higher education, and schools jumping in the space and trying to experiment with different elements and with the transparency of the blockchain, mutability, because really this has been an issue for many countries. How would you prove that your degree is valid? How would you prove that the person who presents the degree really graduated from the university he claims to graduate from? So that will simplify a lot global system and mobility of students. So if you graduated from Russia, you would no longer need to go to the capital, apply to the Ministry of Education, get your degree, like a pack of papers proving with lots of stamps that this is your degree, and then move to another country, translate it to another language. So all this can be actually done on a blockchain.
Template again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, it's cumbersome. Yes.
So we can cut a lot of middle processes, middle people involved. Of course, this will involve a true reformation of lots of systems of supply chain, many things. But again, we are very early there, and there are so many use cases for the metaverse. But I think we're at the stage where more and more people need to learn what the open metaverse is, what are the opportunities for economy, and how they personally can be part of it.
Yeah. Well, it's a fantastic answer. You mentioned, Irina, that you're very passionate about younger creatives and supporting these young artists, and in particular, how recognizing the value of NFTs. And from your experience, just maybe a couple of pieces of advice, 2-3 pieces of advice to those young emerging artists that you would like to offer. Is there anything you would like to say? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. There are plenty of opportunities, and the one of the most important elements of the Web3 is the community. And there's community of just generally token holders of the projects, as well as in all NFT communities. There is a large art community, and it's very welcoming. So we have a unique network, our Discord channel, and we have a channel dedicated to art. It's open to everybody, so please just join us, reach out our Twitter, just Google Unique Network, Telegram, you'd find the channel, or Discord, or on our website, and just jump into conversation, post what you like to do, and you would most likely find like-minded people. And what it's all about, and what platform encourages, meetups, community gathering, discussions. That is from the point of view of self-education and connecting with people who could be helpful on your journey to becoming an artist. But from a larger perspective, we also run an initiative called Digital Art for Climate. We started it last year, and we began it with Designathon. So we gathered UX, UI, front-end community to work on the look and feel of the platform and the website. Then we moved on to the art competition, which was open. We announced the terms of participation. We made sure to advertise it globally. And the goal was to reach out to young people under 30, based elsewhere in the world, who may not necessarily be professional artists, but they want to, but they care about environment and they care about climate issues. Mm-hmm. So we didn't draw a specific boundaries for the artwork. The only condition was it had to be a digital format, so it had to be something that we could display on the screens during during our events. And we received over 200 entries. We ran a public voting, so it was open, it was fair, it was very transparent. And we presented the winners at COP26 in Glasgow last year. And now what happens is that we selected 30 artworks, again, with the public voting, so everything fair and community driven. And these 30 artworks, they will be minted as NFTs and auctioned off in June during the pre-COP27 event. And we're planning to run this art competition regularly, and always give artists the opportunity to showcase it during major global event related to sustainability. And part of the proceeds from the sales will go towards climate action. So there are different partners involved in the initiative, including UN Habitat in Kenya, and they do a lot of educational programs, initiatives. And the most important thing is to give artists a transparent understanding of where the part of the sales of his work will go. So where the profits will go, towards which exactly cause, because we often talk about, climate from the centralized organizations. Again, we can't track if we donate anything towards climate action. Where would my personal donation go, to which specific cause, who would be an organization receiving it, how would they spend those funds? So blockchain helps us to track all these transactions and to really make these organizations accountable. And it creates a connection between a single individual who wants to actually help globally the problem, acknowledges the issue, the global crisis, but doesn't really know how to help on a personal level. Mm-hmm. And I am again expecting more and more of these initiatives to emerge, because we began building this art community. We regularly run Twitter spaces. Actually, this Monday, April 25, we're going to do Twitter space with an artist based in Dubai, Vesa.
Yes.
We're going to talk about We're going to talk about utility and function in art. This is our first like art utility focused space, but we also have curators community. We have a community of street artists from Barcelona. So we try to do this activities and community-based initiatives very often. And what we actually want, and we want a dialogue with young people and with artists. Mm-hmm. We want you to come to us and say, I want to do an event dedicated to this. I have my own small art community, but I want to grow it, and I want to find opportunities to exhibit my art, to mint NFTs, to educate other artists on how to enter the NFT space, or I want to network with developers. There are all these opportunities. So you need to be very proactive. You need to connect with people. And again, I want to underline that everybody is very open. And I myself, I began my journey into blockchain from the community side when I joined Polkadot Ambassadors Program. Well, I was very fortunate because those were the very early days, and many ambassadors were actually founders of current parachain projects. So it was really an intense learning process from the pioneers of the space. However, there is still a lot of traction, and actually there is more opportunities now, because you can come into Ambassador Program not only into core technological community of Polkadot, but you have different parachains, including Unique Network, and Unique has its own Ambassador Program. So there are multiple ways in which you can interact with the team members who are building, with other artists, by joining Twitter spaces, by joining conversation, and actually being proactive, because this is also praised. Be proactive, find your way. If you care about the social cause, if you care about particular art movement, speak up, let us know what you want to do, and we will help you. We'll connect you with other people. We will then, when the critical mass kind of gathers in terms of what the community wants, of course, we always listen, and we always put together an initiative that helps people achieve what they want, or use our toolkit in a way that benefits their artwork.
And thank you so much, Irina. And I think we're just kind of moving towards wrapping it up, but I have one very important question, and I hope you can answer that. The crypto community is very often, and rightly so, accused of having a really large ecological footprint. And it is a big problem. There is no way denying it. But I know that the Unique Network is solving this problem in a particular way. And you're very sensitive about it. And Greg Zaitsev, the CTO, has just spoken about the ecological footprint of different blockchains, I mean. So that's an issue that worries you, that concerns you, and you're solving this problem. Can you please explain to us how you're doing this?
Sure, Tatiana, thank you for this question, because this is very important. As I mentioned at the beginning, I did this call to action: come and experiment and mint whatever NFT you want, see how it goes, try your economic model, whatever. So now think about if you go to mint on proof of work blockchain, where one transfer on Ethereum network produces 48 kilograms of CO2.
Yes. Yeah.
So how many transactions can you afford, right? Here, this is a little bit tricky question in the global level, because actually I'm looking now, we are doing a research on kind of a global picture. So how much does the financial system pollute, right? How much does banking transaction pollute? So there is this comparison. Blockchain isn't the worst one. Let's have the big picture.
But that's the perception. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on a global scale, but we still can be much more efficient. And why would you pollute on a blockchain of proof of work if you have an alternative? It's already up and running. So because things were born on Ethereum, Ethereum was the first infrastructure that supported smart contracts and things that Bitcoin blockchain could not support. Of course, all the experimentation with the tools, with marketplaces, different applications was created there. But now we are at the moment where Polkadot ecosystem is up and running. So everybody can build on proof of stake blockchain. So there is no need to unnecessarily pollute the environment. And according to the recent proof of stake research, also if we compare other different proof of stake blockchains, Polkadot comes to be the most efficient one. So CO2 per NFT transfer in Polkadot is 0.03 kilograms, I think. I'm just looking at the
kilograms, yeah, probably.
But there is I think there's a letter missing. So if we compare, for example, Ethereum and Mission, so one transaction on unique network, we can compare it to one human exhale. So this is how much CO2 unique network produces. All this is due to the architecture of the chain. So in Polkadot parachains, and unique being one of the parachains, you need 5 to 10 validators to support this parachain, 30 collators, and we also have a mechanism to optimize NFT transactions. So simply by the fact that the core architecture of the parachain is very efficient, we're the least polluting blockchain out there. So you can mint as many NFTs if you like, and you can be absolutely calm and sure that you're not creating a major damage for the environment.
And it's very cheap as well. It's almost, it's almost zero, the minting costs, which is a great feature, I would imagine. Yeah. Well, Irina, thank you so much for being here, for contributing to this very interesting discussion about the future of the metaverse, NFTs, and what artists can do in the space in particular. Maybe you've got one final comment to make?
My final comment, please everybody join this space, learn as much as you can, be proactive, reach out to platform founders, look for your opportunities, look to connect with other people, be open to learning, because learning never stops throughout life and the world is changing rapidly, the technology is improving. So we need to catch up and we need to be, now it's a very exciting time to be alive, actually, because there is a lot going on and there is a lot that we can change in this world, and especially in the blockchain community. And this community is one of the most exciting ones, with really genius people, active people with very long-term vision, light-hearted, and who wants to change this world and make it a better place.
Yes, and I would imagine that a lot of people, what I see is a kind of on team humanity. They don't have these nationalistic clashes or anything kind of all this rivalry that exists, competition that exists in maybe other communities. Web3 is very, very special, and the NFT space is special as well. So I too would like you, younger people, but also people who are not so young, mature ones, to join this space opportunities to learn about it. Yes, definitely. Thank you so much again, Irina. And I'm sure I'll see you in Dubai very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana. Pleasure being here.
Thank you.